Hello and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be ranking Radiohead albums, and please do not get offended by where I rank things. And yes, I know tier lists are kind of redundant, but I'm also going to be just ranking these from worst to best as well. So first, let's go. Pablo Honey, it's going and still alright. It's okay for Radiohead standards. I wouldn't say I would forget this exists and it's terrible, but I would say it's just okay for Radiohead standards. If I was judging this based on the rock music at the time, I would say that this is just good. This is a good rock album for the time, but not much more than that. And there's four good songs, which is Creep, of course. Everybody knows Radiohead for Creep. And then You. And then there's also the closer, Blowout, which is my favorite on the album. It is actually pretty good. And also Lurgy isn't that bad. It's good, in my opinion. But rather than that, a lot of the other tracks are just kind of mediocre and not stuff I would really come back to a whole lot. But anyways, next is going to be Amnesiac. I'm sorry. It's going to be less perfect, but it's still going in my number 8 spot. It's really good, but I love it. I love this album, but it's just weaker than some other Radiohead albums, which is why I'm placing it all the way down here at number 8. And I love the chaotic nature of this album. Let me get that out of the way. It's the way more chaotic version of Kid A. And to quote, one of the band members, I'm pretty sure Tom York, said that this is basically just standing in the apocalypse. Amnesiac is being in the apocalypse, but Kid A is watching it from a distance, It's a lot, Kid A is way more consistent, but Amnesiac is all over the place. But that's what I love about it. It's great for that. And some of my favorite Radiohead songs are on this record, probably top 30 or top 25. Pyramid Song is a masterpiece, and also I Might Be Wrong is my favorite on the album. Actually, it's not going to be Pyramid Song, it's I Might Be Wrong. I really love I Might Be Wrong's guitar licks. The guitar tone is amazing as well. The 50-second ending with that more upfront mix of the synth, it's great. But next is going to be The Bends. I know a lot of people will put it near perfect, but I'm putting it less perfect because I find it a huge step up and a huge evolution from Pablo Honey. It's a humongous improvement over Pablo Honey. And there are some amazing songs on here, like Fake Plastic Trees and The Closer, which is my favorite. Street Spirit, Fade Out. And also, Radiohead has made no bad closers, in my opinion. They have just continued on the streak from Pablo Honey and have made fantastic closers. I'm sorry for my voice, by the way. It's really nasally, and you can tell. But, yeah, there are just some tracks on here that I just find decent or good, and that's it, and that's why I'm placing it this low on the list. For example, Sulk. I know there's some diehard Sulk fans out there, but it's probably my least favorite, very closely tied with Bones, because Bones is just a kind of okay, mediocre rock track that has some good vocals from Tom. Because Tom really switches up his vocal style here, while Pablo Honey was mostly one note with the vocals, which got kind of boring after a while. And why I'm placing it down here at alright, because it just got kind of boring, with some highlights here and there. The band switches it up with vocal styles, and Street Spirit really highlights that evolution in vocal styles, and just the creepiness of that guitar is amazing. It just keeps on building and building with no resolution, and I love that. But next is going to be in the near perfect tier. So it's gonna be The King of Limbs. The King of Limbs is going here. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. A lot of people expected me to put this down at Let's Forget This Exists or Alright. A lot of people probably expected me to put this at the bottom of the list. No, it's going in the middle of the list. It's really good. I like it more than The Bends. I'm sorry. Actually, you know what? I'm putting it at less perfect, but it's still above The Bends. But it's amazing. This is amazing. The 4-track run at the end is fantastic, from Lotus Flower to Separator, and Separator is actually probably one of my favorite Radiohead closers. It's amazing. That very cheerful guitar that comes in, and this is probably Radiohead's happiest album. And it isn't in Rainbows, because in Rainbows, once you look into the lyrics, it sounds happy, but once you look at the lyrics, it's very sad, and also the closer is way more sad on in Rainbows than on The King of Limbs. And I'm sorry, I'm sick, can you tell? I'm having a very hard time speaking, but yeah, The King of Limbs is just fantastic. Also, the more experimental stuff at the beginning is also fantastic. Bloom is a great opener, and also I really do like Feral. A lot of people hate Feral. A lot of people really dislike Feral, but I love the kind of using Tom as an instrument and just like randomly kind of inserting his voice, and they sound great. The vocal melodies on that track do sound amazing, even though they're kind of random. But that's what I love about it. It's super sporadic, and that's what I like about it. It is very textured and very detailed, and this is probably Radiohead the most texture. Their most texture ridden album. It's like extremely there's so many like noises that you just don't pick up on the first listen, and there's a lot of great drum beats as well. The beats on this album are amazing. Those drum loops are amazing, and yeah, I find it actually doesn't get stale because it is mostly just looping throughout most of the song, but it keeps on building, which is what I like about the album. But anyways, we're gonna be going on to the near perfect here now, and that's going to be Kid A. This is probably going to be the most kind of controversial placement because a lot of people probably expected me to put this in top 3. I'm putting it near perfect just because I like rock better, and that's literally it. If I preferred electronic music better, I would just be putting this in perfect because god damn is this album good in terms of atmosphere, in terms of everything just sounding like the album cover. It's amazing in that department. It just has an incredible atmosphere to it. All the songs transition to each other greatly, just amazing. All the songs on this album are amazing. I would say there's only kind of one weak kind of track, which is In Limbo, but even then it's still amazing and it has a great atmosphere, and I would not get rid of it at all. But yeah, Kid A is just amazing, has an amazing atmosphere. Idiotech is my favorite on the album, probably. Oh, and also Separator is probably my favorite on the King of Limbs. But yeah, Idiotech perfectly represents Kid A. Just as the album cover and what the album is about, it perfectly represents it. That drum groove beat is amazing. The vocals are amazing. Just the fucking harmonies as well, and the very like kind of ambient quality to the second half with all those weird fucking sounds. I love that. I love that quality of this album. It just has a bunch of weird experimental stuff, like with the national anthem and the opener. Goddamn, the opener. Everything in its right place is everything in its right place. It's fucking amazing. The lyrics are kind of nonsensical, but in a really good way. And it's just great. Everything falls into its right place. That's really all I have to say. It's a fucking pun, but it's true. But next is going to be at number 4. I'm sorry, I've just kind of given up on like ranking on like ranking these. I've just gone into full-blown tier list mode. But yeah, at number 4 is going to be, I'm sorry, Hail to the Thief. Hail to the Thief, I think, is better than Kid A. And this is why I say this is probably going to be the most controversial placement, because placing Hail to the Thief over Kid A isn't super popular, but Hail to the Thief is great. I've gotten so used to the track placement as well. I found it very messy on like the first few listens, but I've gotten very used to it now, and I really do like all the songs on this record. I don't find a single song bad. I don't even find a single song like mediocre. I find all of them to be good, even like the weaker tracks on here. For example, a lot of people hate We Suck Young Blood, or like just dislike it, which is understandable, but I really do love how eerie the song is. It's so eerie. It's great, and it's kind of like a joke song once you look into why they actually made the song, but it just how you interpret it is what this song is about, what the fucking song is about. It's amazing. And just the piano, the guitars, they all sound great. The freak out at the kind of midway point is also amazing, and then it just kind of blue balls you go. That's really the only way I can describe it, just going down back into the kind of calm, very eerie harmonies that fill up that chorus extremely well. And it's just creepy as all shit. It's amazing. And the best song on the album, in my opinion, is going to be There There. There There is honestly, I'm sorry to say this, again, I keep saying that. I need to stop saying it. I keep repeating it. I'm very fucking sorry. I always repeat myself because these are unscripted. But yeah, There is my favorite Radiohead track. Just full stop. It's my favorite Radiohead track. That's it. Even though there are 3 albums that are better than Hail to the Thief, I still find it to be literally my favorite track. I fucking don't say literally. God damn it, I'm turning into fucking Leafy over here. But yeah, it's a great track. Like, it's fantastic. From the building chorus, that's amazing. Tom's vocals, I think at this era, are his best. And also just the guitars. Oh my god, the guitars at the end, the chorus, the lyrics, everything in this track is perfect. Everything in the track is perfect. And that is the perfect Radiohead track. If I were to say, what is the perfect Radiohead track, I would say it's that. I mean, yes, there's no such thing as perfect, but the closest thing to perfection is that, in my opinion. But I'm going to check Pool is going to be number 3. And this probably is the least surprising out of all my rankings. Yeah, it's amazing. Just how fucking sad this album is amazing. Just taking into context what Tom York was going through before making the album, especially after as well, with his divorce and then eventual, sadly, passing of his then wife. It's just taking that into context and listening to this album, it's a fucking heartbreaker. And then the closer, of course, True Love Waits. It's one of the best on the album. I would say the best on the album is actually Identikit, because, in my opinion, it just fuses the kind of grooviness of the King of Limbs with those tight drum beats and the, just the overall, like, groovy bass lines, and just mixing it with Hail to the Thief and making it amazing. Like, Identikit is amazing. The guitar tones are amazing. The guitar solo at the end, I felt like it didn't fit when I first listened to it, but now I feel like it does really fit. And just the choir is with that climbing synth is great. And yeah, I would find it to be damn near perfect. I know it says perfect, but I would say as close. Oh, sorry. As close. God, I can't even spell what. As close to perfection. But yeah, it's going there. But number 2, and is honestly, I flip-flop these between being my favorite. I honestly, I could have this being my favorite one day and having this be my favorite one day, but for right now, it's going in Rainbows for 2. And Rainbows, what hasn't already been said about this album? I mean, my favorite on the album is probably going to be Jigsaw Falling into Place. It's super, it's super accessible, and a lot of Radiohead fans are like, and some Radiohead fans are like, oh, it's too accessible, like, it's just like, it's not that good, but it's brilliant, man. It's fucking brilliant. Like, I love how fucking groovy the song is. It's like happy sounding, but once you look at the lyrics, I've already talked about this, but the lyrics are really the underbelly of just this entire album, and also the closer, Videotape. I know some people really don't like this track again, but it's amazing. I love the syncopated drums. I love just the very calm, very basic piano, but it fits extremely well. Just the syncopated drums just building and building and building. And the lyrics are the best part of this song. If you don't look at the lyrics and you don't like the song, just look at the lyrics, and it will give you a newfound appreciation for the song. And because it just sounds like a videotape replaying itself with those like repeating drums that just keeps building. It just sounds like a videotape replaying itself, which fits incredibly well into the lyrics, which are basically just about making a final videotape as a goodbye. It's amazing. I'm repeating myself again. I'm like a broken record, just saying it's amazing, but I really don't have any other words to describe any Radiohead album besides maybe Pablo Honey. Every other Radiohead album is just amazing. Every single one. But here we are, ranking my favorite. OK Computer. It's the one I haven't ranked yet. My favorite is probably going to be Paranoid Android. It's probably my second favorite Radiohead track. It's the 6-minute just powerhouse, absolute powerhouse of a song with so many switch-ups that are fucking amazing, with acoustic guitar at the beginning, to full-blown bass line at the second part, and then full-blown, extremely in-your-face rock guitars, and then the bridge. The very nice bridge is my favorite part of the track, and then back into very bombastic guitars. It's an all-around very almost close to perfect track. It's great. My second favorite also has to be It has to be Climbing Up the Walls. I'm sorry. It's not going to be like the hits like No Surprises or Karma Police or Let Down. Let Down's probably my fourth favorite, though, but yeah. Just Climbing Up the Walls is so goddamn eerie. It's so great. It takes a lot of the elements from what I liked about these previous eerie songs like Street Spirit and just really fused it together into a brilliant track with great strings from Johnny. I have yet to talk about that. The strings on Immune Shape Pool and on every single Radiohead album, besides, just the albums where excluded strings, are brilliant. The string arrangements always in Radiohead's tracks are just amazing. And yeah, that's no different here in Climbing Up the Walls. It's just building tension. It builds tension extremely well, and then Tom York fucking lets it all out with a huge fucking scream at the end, and it's probably the only scream I've really heard where he fully screams. Like, not like screaming like in some other tracks. He full blown just fucking screams at the end, and I love that. And again, I'm sorry you guys could probably barely hear what I'm saying, because, yeah, I'm fucking sick. But that's basically it. That's it for my ranking. I've made this video very long already, so that's going to be basically it. Going over it again, you could already see where I rank things, but yeah. Pablo Honey, 9, Amnesiac, 8, The Bend, 7, King of Limbs, 6, Kid A, 5, Hail to the Thief, 4, A Mood Shape Pool, 3, In Rainbows, 2, and of course, OK Computer for number 1. Yeah. And by the way, OK Computer is a fucking landmark in alt-rock music. Just a landmark. Like, it's one of the most highly rated albums of all time for a good goddamn reason. There are no misses on this album. They are all masterpieces. And same with In Rainbows as well. There are no misses. And that's what I love about Radiohead albums. But that's basically it. And I will see you guys later. Goodbye.